Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday morning. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and getting ready to have an even better weekend and following week. We're so glad that you're here. Thank you so much. My name is Derek Clifford. I am the founder and CEO of Elevate Equity, where we help W-2 married couples find a way out of their W-2 rat race and get into some passive income no matter where it is, whether it's investing in single family homes or apartment complexes. We got you covered. And we're excited that you're here today. Today is a topic that is near and dear to my heart because it is something that is 3, 4, 5 years in the making. And it was how I was able to turn $40,000 when I was first starting off investing back in 2017 into over $300,000, right? And that's a pretty amazing journey. But I do want to back up by saying that it always starts with mindset. So if you can listen in on these types of educational videos and make sure that you're educated and aware of what it's like to be able to do this, the risks that you're taking and what you're getting yourself into, you're going to be in tip-top shape. So just to give you a little bit more background before we jump into the meat and potatoes here, I started off starting in real estate, investing in a single family house in California. And when I did that, I tried to manage it myself. I tried to do everything I could. And this was back in 2015. I did everything I could, but it eventually ended with 2 evictions. So after 2 evictions, I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And so that experience and that knowledge that I had doing something local and being an accidental landlord a couple of times really helped me focus on what I wanted to do intentionally. And so that's something that you're going to see in this live stream here, okay? So the first thing that I wanted to talk with you about is the question, all right? The questions that you ask yourself determines the quality of where you're going to be later on. So with the question that I had was, what to do with $40,000? I knew that I needed to be able to invest that money because it was something that I had saved and worked really hard for. And I knew that real estate investing was the right place for me. So in order for me to start, I understood what market I wanted to go into because I had done some research. So this is where that background in doing what I was doing in California comes in. You have to understand that wherever you're investing, you got to have the knowledge to be able to do what I'm about to teach you. So it takes experience, it takes trial and error, and it takes a little bit of tenacity to make this happen. But this is how it all worked. It started with the question, what to do with $40,000, okay? And so when I went to my market in Indianapolis, the question was, what to do with $40,000? I posed this question to my property managers and also with some agents out there, and they had a lot of answers for me, right? But it was up to me to make the decision. So the options that I was presented was, okay, well, you could get a B-class rental, B-plus class rental that will cost you 200 grand because 40 is the down payment for that. And the rate would be about $1,700 a month in profit you could make from that, right? That's actually not profit, those are the rents. So by the time you paid the mortgage and everything, there might not be too much left after that. The other option is, okay, we can take the $40,000 and maybe split it up into 2 houses, right? So each of the houses are about $100,000 in value. So you can get your 40K to be 2 down payments at $20,000 a piece. That's at a 25% down. And you can get yourself into a property like this, right? Now you have, or you could do 5 of them, right? This was the opportunity that presented itself to me, okay? And this is the one that made the most sense because by doing it this way, you'll have more appreciation effects, more portfolio effects. You'll be able to really realize the advantage of having a bunch of different income streams into one, into your portfolio so that they can offset one another, right? So I decided for me that that was going to be the best choice. This solid C-class rental with $625 a month and over times 5, right? Because there's 5 of them. So that means that my $40,000 got spread over 5 properties as far as the down payment goes. And then I was able to borrow the rest, okay? So that means that I was actually buying the houses at $40,000 a house, okay? I was buying 5 houses for $200,000 total. I had $40,000 down. And so I was able to use a bridge lender or someone that offers you high interest rates to close really quickly, okay? So I was able to get that in place. And the reason that they did it, and the reason that I did it, was that the package of 5 of those houses, they were actually worth $50 a piece. But because I was buying them all together in one bundle, they were willing to sell it to me for $40. So if I had the patience to go in and pluck off the houses and sell them one by one, then I would have a $10,000 profit on each house because I could patiently sell one off and I could do that. So that meant that I gained $50,000 of return potentially, right? For the $40,000 that I deployed. Now, thinking about that simplistically, it seems like it's over 100% return, but what it doesn't account for is risk, right? There's a lot of things that can go wrong in this. And so that's something that you have to keep in mind, okay? But what I knew is that buy and hold was the place to be because of tax benefits. You can use the taxes to help you write off some of your gains and even really take advantage of some of the losses that you may incur in these properties, right? So that's what I decided to do. I had these properties and held for 3.5 years. And I will tell you too that there was a lot of rehab and energy that I had to put into these things. I had to maintain the property for a long time. And I had to wait patiently. I also had to be very careful about what I was buying. So I knew the market, I knew where it was going, and I understood that the way that the market was moving in towards the houses meant that this place was eventually headed for a loss of appreciation later, because the property, the areas immediately to the north and immediately to the west, they were expanding and they were very expensive areas, and this one was sandwiched right in between those two spots. So as I saw that, I was like, this has got to be a good place to buy. And then I waited, right? And there's a lot of waiting in this 3.5 years. There's a lot of things you have to do. You have to pay the bills, you got to pay the mortgages, you got to work with your property manager, you got to fix issues on the property. There's all these things that have to go through, and you've got to deal with it for 3.5 years. So that's where the rub is, right? Is finding the properties in the right place, which doesn't take too much effort. After talking with a bunch of different agents and property managers, you can find that out relatively easily. But then executing on it, right? Getting the deal, like finding the properties at the good value that they are, and then just holding on to them, right? That's really where the patience comes in. And this is what ended up happening for me, right? So of the $32,000 and then the $8,000 down payment, I had to invest $10,000 in CapEx, which I eventually got out in the end, but then it had appreciated to a total value of about $85,000 to $90,000, right? So if you look at the total composition for each house, on average, that's what it was. 45% of that end value at the end of 3 years was from the appreciation. And then there you had the original 40,000 there, and then you had 10,000 that was locked in as well, okay? So what does that mean for us? That means that at sale, we had a $90,000 price point for each of these, right? And that was the average for the portfolio that helped me get some of this profit going there, right? If you take away the $30,000 mortgage, which was paid down a little bit by $2,000 per property over the course of the hold, that leaves about $60,000 in cash for each house. And if you multiply that by 5 houses, that is right there your $300,000 in cash out. The $40,000 or the $40,000 that I had in the original equity, that's what I started with, and then I ended with $300,000 outside of that, okay? And then, of course, now the question is what to do with that $300,000. That was what was happening next, okay? So one thing that I want to do is I want to back up here and say, again, why go this way? Why not go with 2 rentals, or why not go with 1 rental, right? And why did I go with the 5? Well, I understood that when you have 1 property, okay, you've got 1 mortgage and only one chance to have appreciation on upside. So with that B-class rental, if the property appreciates by, I don't know, 20% or 30%, that's 20 or 30% on 1 property, okay? But if I had 5 of them, right? And let's say that the home values go up by 30%, well, I get 30% times 5. And so that's kind of what I was realizing, is that the debt stays fixed. It doesn't grow with the appreciation. So the more houses that you have, the debt is fixed. And so the more appreciation you can get by having more numbers means that you have more value and more increases, okay? And so that's what was really, really attractive to me. That's kind of, with my engineering brain, that's kind of how I thought at the beginning when I had the choice of going with 2 houses or 1 house or 5. And so that's what happened with my $40,000, right? Did it by 5. Appreciation was accelerated. From there, the question was what to do with that $300,000, okay? And for me, I think that there's no better place to look at economies of scale than in an apartment complex. Inside of an apartment complex, I was able to take all of that cash, right, and put it into something that looks like this. and really, really accelerate the growth because you have that economies of scale built into the asset. So instead of buying 5 individual properties, it's already built into the apartment complex here. And so this is an image from my book that may be a little bit too detailed for us here, but I just thought I would show that this is exactly what I was planning on doing. You have 100 units, you go in and you buy all that, and then as you increase the rent on each one of the units, then the values just skyrocket, considering the cap rate being the same, okay? And then another thing to consider when it comes to investing in apartment buildings like I do, there is a reason why busy professionals don't have the time to do what I did, right? I went in and I spent lots of time doing this. This isn't for the light of heart. It takes a lot of effort, energy, and focus. And you almost got to be on top of these houses and talking with contractors and constantly, cycling people through to try things out. But doing something like this is much, much achievable for someone who's working a full-time job. You're able to partner with someone whose job it is to manage the property for you, and you still get a return. You still get the equity on that by doing that, okay? So hopefully that was useful to you guys. I really, really am passionate about this particular subject because this is what really enabled me to get really far in what I do. And I think that it's important to understand what your risk tolerance is. If you really want to get your hands dirty and you want to spend more time getting to know all of this, right? Then that's what you're going to do. You're going to spend the time talking with people, flying out to the market potentially, spending a lot of time on phone calls, evaluating deals, making sure that what this person's saying is true or not true, and making sure that things match up, right? Doing underwriting, making sure that the properties actually perform as they're supposed to. That's the thing, right? That's what you got to do. So you got to figure out, do you want to be more passive or do you want to be active? And on the active side, you can be very, very profitable if you know what you're doing. And if you're active for just a long time, for just a little bit of time to get your properties, buy them, and then hold them. That is then you can turn that active into sort of passive, semi-passive, and you can continue to work your full-time job or do what you need to do and just maintain here or there and then sell them off to realize huge gains like I did, and then use the power of an incredible 1031 to take all of those capital gains that you had and roll the capital gains into the next project and keep doing that, keep deferring and deferring and deferring until there's no end. So anyway, I hope that was useful for you guys. I am here if you have any questions at all. Please click the links in the description if you want to learn more about us. We have a fantastic website with tons of content there. We have free material for you to look at. If you want to learn how to buy apartment buildings and what types of things we offer, there's a brochure on our website. And you can also click the link to find out more about why commercial real estate is so incredible to invest in, especially for passive investors out there. We want to help you as well. So please join us. Let us know if there's anything that we can do. Please like, subscribe. We have a podcast. We have our book. We've got everything out there to try to help you. So please let me know if you have any questions and I'll be here for you. Otherwise, I'll let you have a fantastic weekend and enjoy. Take care, everyone.